Manchester United signed Cunha and Mbuemo this summer for over £130 million. There was a lot of criticism on this deal. Why Manchester United signing players from Brentford and relegation side Wolves? But ultimately, these two players are bought in. And if we're being honest, it's a great bit of recruitment from Ineos. And I don't like to say it because I don't think they have the best intentions of the club in their mind. But ultimately, this sort of recruitment and decision making has been very, very good. To bring in someone like Cunha, Premier League experience, quality, scored 15 goals in the league, the most by a Brazilian player. To go out and get Mbuemo, Brentford's top scorer, who had a lot of clubs as well that wanted to sign him, in for that sort of price is very, very good business. Now, in this video, I want to look at why Manchester United signed them, their impact on this team, how can they improve, and ultimately their role under Michael Carrick. So without further ado, let's get into it now. Cunha and Mbuemo, as I said, they come in for a lot of money, and there's a lot of expectation on them already. Being Premier League experience, ultimately spending a lot of money on them. Now, they've come into this team and they've done a very, very good job. I'll talk about Cunha first. Cunha, for me, £62.5 million. I do have a Cunha number 10 shirt. I think he was going to be a very, very good signing. And he might have not hit the ground running straight away by scoring in every game so far. But he did have a bit of a slow start to his career at Manchester United. But you look at particularly the last few weeks and the last few months, I think he's been very, very positive. He's had a lot of good performances. And listen, in the last two games against Arsenal and City, he didn't start. But he come off the bench, got the winning assist against City, got the winning goal against Arsenal. And that's how top players respond. And that's ultimately how you find your way back into the top teams. Now, as I said, I think he did a very, very good job this season. And for £62.5 million, as I said, there has been a lot of pressure on him. And I think he has. And you can see he's a massive improvement on players like Garnacho and Rashford and Sancho. In my opinion, just the quality that he has, it's the sort of aura that he plays with, the aggression, the fight. And he can do everything. If you need him to fight, he can fight. If you need him to score a goal, he can pop up with a world-class finish. If you need him to defend, if you need him to ball carry, like he does have a lot. And I think under Carrick you've seen sort of, yes, he hasn't started both of the games, but he's had a massive impact in both of them. And his stats this season, they are improving. Listen, he scored some good goals, but you look at some of the performances. I look at Cunha as more of a player who, again, might not got a goal and an assist every game like an Mbuemo, but someone who there's moments in the game, for example, against Arsenal the other day, winning free kicks toward the end of the game, scoring that sort of goal, running down the clock, carrying the ball, taking United out of pressure moments. They're the sort of the moments I look at from Cunha. 5 goals and 2 assists this season. Like, it's not been bad for your first season. Yes, you would want more, but you look at the goals that he scored. A great goal against Brighton, a crucial goal against Leeds to get us a point, a goal against Arsenal which was fantastic, a goal against Aston Villa which ultimately we lose, but you needed that, a goal against Bournemouth which gets us the draw. As I said, a goal against Brighton. So, listen, he's been a very, very important player. I think he started off his career very, very well at United. There are a lot of positives from this. Now, let's talk about my guy Mbuemo. Like, this guy has been very, very good. To come in from Brentford, to hit the ground running straight away, go to AFCON, come back and still score goals. I think, as I said, he's more of a different sort of character to Cunha. He's more of a quiet guy, more of a shy guy. But on the pitch, he does his talking. A goal at the Emirates, a goal against Manchester City, a goal at Anfield. Like, he's been a very, very important player. And I think one of the most underrated, the composure he shows in front of goal, his ability to make the correct decisions, his relationship with sort of the wide players, the fact that now he's playing in the number 9 position, which he don't look out of place at all, is very, very positive from him. And I think he's the sort of player, as I said, with the whole recruitment, Premier League proven, which is something that we've needed. We've gone out and we've bought Sancho 80 million, Anthony 100 million, Højlund 80 million. Who else have we signed? Garnacho just wasn't quite right. As I said, I've already mentioned Sancho. Like, we signed a lot of players that just didn't work out. And Cunha and Mbuemo, the early signs are definitely very, very positive. And as I said, what Mbuemo's added to this team is ultimately a ruthless approach. I think I look at some of those scenarios that he's been in. Rashford's not scoring. Anthony, Sancho, Højlund, these players are not scoring, and he has been a very clinical player. As I said, for his first season at United, to get 8 goals and 1 assist in 18 matches is very, very good for your first Premier League season. And as I said, you have to remember he is only 26, but not like he's gonna like, he's still not entered, I would say, the peak of his career, and hopefully we can see that at Manchester United. But you look at sort of the chances he's created, he can operate in a multitude of positions, and his stats have been very, very good. To come back from AFCON, get a goal against City, the first goal opening game, to get a goal against Arsenal that gets us back into the game, is very, very good. And I've been very, very impressed by the sort of recruitment at Ineos, and that's one thing that you have to give him credit for. I think to go out and get the players that we did, because as I said, Cunha was linked to Newcastle, he was heavily interested by Arsenal, and Mbuemo was wanted by a lot of clubs in the league, but ultimately he chose Manchester United. And again, that is another thing that United had the pull on. They have that ability to attract players even when we finished 15th and didn't win a trophy. So not many clubs can do that, and I just think Cunha and Mbuemo for me have been one of Manchester United's most important players, and my favourite players to watch this season. I know Bruno's done good, but he does good every season. But the way in which they've settled into this team, they're very good characters, they're very good players, and they're very important to what United are trying to build. Majority of the goals have come from them, and in the last few weeks when there has been a goal coming, it has been from them. And I think the work rate is something that does get talked about enough. Cunha puts in the hard yards. As I said, in that game against Liverpool, he was carrying the ball towards the end of the game, and Mbuemo putting in shifts at like right back at times, defending very, very well. But then when you need them to go forward, they have that quality, and I think it's the sheer quality that they have that we've seen a massive improvement on. Like, it's life changing, honestly, and they've massively improved this Manchester United team. And I think they're two very, very good players that can hopefully be at the club now for the next 5 to 6 years, and hopefully get United back to the top, because I think that transfer attack overhaul has been very, very good. Yes, Sesko kind of has struggled, but I think he can become a top player as well. And I think next now we really have to focus on getting players in that midfield, whether that is bringing in Baleba, Wharton, Anderson, João Gomez, Tyler Adams, Alex Scott, Stiller. Like, we have to go and do the same what we did with the attack with that midfield. If it's going to be Premier League experience, as I said, I want Baleba, I want Anderson, I want these sorts of players to come in. But Cunha and Mbuemo, what a bit of recruitment by Manchester United. As I said, their stats have been very, very good, but even if you watch their performances and what they've added to this team, has been very, very positive. So I'm very happy with them. I think this is exactly what Manchester United needed this season. Getting rid of Garnacho, getting rid of Sancho, getting rid of Rashford, Anthony going and bringing two lethal clinical forwards who at Wolves, Cunha was their best player, and at Brentford, Mbuemo was clearly their best player as well. So two very different players, but two players in their own that can cause a lot of problems, and are very, very good players for Manchester United. So let me know your thoughts. That game against Arsenal was probably the best game I've seen both of them have. It was emphatic, they worked great. The fact that Cunha come off the bench, got that goal, and the fact that he did, and that little dance was class as well. So shout out to those two players. They've been two very good players this season for United, and hopefully they keep that up. In terms of ambitions for them now, if we look at sort of Cunha's stats, if we look at Mbuemo's stats this season, 8 goals and 1 assist. I think in 18 games, we have 15 games left of the season. I would say Mbuemo should be looking at 15 goals. No, I'm going to say 20 goals, 20 goals, 5 assists. I think that should be the target for Mbuemo. And if he gets that in his first season, that would be hugely impressive. For Cunha, again, as I said, he's on 5 goals, 2 assists. I would expect 10 goals and 5 assists for Cunha, and that would be a very good season for him. But let's not get carried away. Two very important players, and I'm so happy United have signed them.